it definitely is an honor to be here with you, and I'm so super excited to be able to engage in this level of conversation, dialogue, and then also hopefully encourage you to really dig into it, because sometimes you can overlook the fact that it's about data, or you can have let me say it this way. I had preconceived notions about what I felt about data and the perception of it, but reading this book has really changed my perspective and has really encouraged me to do more with data that's available to me. So I'm excited that you're excited about reading this book. So for some of you, hello. So some of you, like when you're in church and the pastor is preaching and teaching and they write the script, they tell you the scriptures, you write them down to take notes. So I went ahead and I gave you page numbers. So if you want to get your pens out so that you can take notes, so that therefore when you hear something exciting that is said today, you can say, oh, on this page, this happened on the book launch, okay? So go ahead and get your pens, get your books ready, and make some notes in the margin. That's okay for them to write in your book, right?
It's theirs now.
Yeah, exactly. It's theirs. Let's own it. You guys have been great participants. But in chapter 5, we talk about story time, integrating data and stories. I told you my personal testimony, and I even shared with you a bunch of you earlier that data checked out. It just was above my head. It always incite fear in some sense. It just seemed too much. I'm more of touchy-feely, it feels this type of way. And it's like, no, you need to have that concrete type of thing. So I'm asking you this question, and you could answer this in how you see fit, like you've been doing. But then also, towards the end, leave your final thoughts with the crowd. Is that okay?
Sure.
So the question is, when preparing to write this book, beyond your degree, why you and why now is this book needed on the earth?
That's a loaded question. I told you about you heard about my childhood a bit. And as I navigated through my doctorate program, I was looking for something, something that I learned a lot, don't get me wrong. But at the end of it, I'm saying, okay, how do I crystallize what has excited me the most? And not just crystallize it that I go back and I look back and I'm like, yeah, I read this and I know this. But how do I share that information with people I may or may not meet? Pastor Khan, when he was doing the opening prayer, he talked about people going to the grave with so much that they know, and just the opportunity, I feel like I'm living a dream, that I'm able to put a seed in here that perhaps someone will actually take the time. My brother-in-law called me the other day, and he said, we were talking about this, and he said what nobody else has said. You wrote a textbook. I said, yeah, I wrote a textbook. And so there was a kind of excitement, even though I didn't have many copies, when people got the hard copy, because it's a book that you will keep going back to. It's not a book, I'm not telling you about my life and all that nice stuff. Like we read from one page to the other. You could just pick up a chapter you want to think on and read on, or a section, and that's enough. And for that time. So I feel and I know that when people, just like you said something about share your full testimony. That brought me to tears.
Okay.
She shared, just preparing for this.
Yeah, I said in this chapter you touch briefly on regulating emotions. You go on to explain how when people predetermined opinions are given something new to consider, there is no sign of this is in the book, activity of all the part of the brain associated with reasoning. Brain activity is only seen in areas that integrate emotions and circuits known as resolve conflicts. I find that fascinating because I personally had a predetermined opinion about the content of this book. I am one of those who in the past was very intimidated by the idea of utilizing data. I am one of those people who find data presentations challenging. I admittedly have mentally checked out of data presentations when the charts and graph appear. So to be fully transparent, I purchased the book out of support for what you created, but there was true anxiety regarding actually reading the book. When I flipped through the book and saw charts and graph, I was like, yeah, that's not for me. Nope. However, in preparing for this event out of obedience and with great honor and respect for who you are and what you do, I committed to reading the entire book, page by page, line by line, precept upon precept, with a willingness to gain new understanding. And I truly found it to be a page turner. The book, to me, is like a coaching session and an encouragement not to be afraid of data, as it is a valuable resource available to us to complement and help us excel in some areas of work in what we are called to do. So I thank you.
Thank you. And once she shared that with me, I just felt that I have achieved my purpose. I specifically chose her because I don't consider her a data geek. She's the Toastmaster. Oh, she can sell you ice in Alaska, but data, nah. So I wanted to test this book on someone who is not normally into data. Thank you.
Thank you. Let us honor Dr. Nathan. Woo! Did you guys enjoy getting to know a lot more about data? Was it what you expected? No, but it's so much more. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Ife Nathan, and I'm here excited to introduce my book. The name of the book is Data Speaks: Business Analytics for the Creative Leader. I found myself completing a doctoral program in strategic leadership out in Regent University in Virginia Beach. And I was very drawn to the data analytics part of the training, and I realized that I had a very keen interest in not only analyzing data, but being able to communicate data in a manner that appealed to different types of audiences. And I realized that why a lot of people shy away from data is because either it seems to be over their head or it's not communicated in a way that is meaningful for them. To be able to obtain a copy of my book, whether you want to get the hardcover or the paperback, you can visit drifenathan.com. If you want additional formats, you can visit Amazon and Barnes & Noble.